Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the latest episode of Game of Thrones, The Broken Man. So, I really like this episode overall, because it's starting to position people's story arcs and everything kind of in a position that is going to be setting up for the end game of the season, as well as the end game of the series overall, since we've only got 2 seasons after this one, and they're most likely going to be shortened. So, this episode started off in an interesting way in that it did not go into the usual title intro before all the episodes usually happen. This one started right in the action with a group of people building a sept, which is their kind of version of a church. And we get introduced to Brother Ray, who's played by Ian McShane. And we don't get his name at first, but we see that he's kind of leading these people. They're pretty happy-go-lucky. And then we get the bombshell that the Hound is alive. And it had been alluded to in the books, but it was going to be interesting to see if they did that in the show as well. But he's still his houndy self, being broody and everything, doing stuff that normally other people wouldn't be able to do, and it's kind of scaring people. And we get some background in that. Brother Ray was the one who found him and nursed him back to health, and he thought that he was going to be dead more often than not. And you could tell that the leg injury that he sustained does affect his walking, so it'll be interesting to see how that affects his combat prowess going forward. And it was kind of interesting to see his interactions and everything with Brother Ray, because Brother Ray's like, listen, I know all these gods and everything, I just want to believe in something higher and that we can all be connected. It's like, that's a pretty good outlook that he can have. And it was really interesting to see that going through with the episode. And we did get the title eventually. It's just interspersed between all the stuff that we learned about the Hound, but it was really very effective and pretty cool to kind of like shake things up. You're like, oh my god, what's happening? Oh god. Then we get transported back to Marjorie and the Sparrow. And she's still playing the kind of, oh yes, I follow the faith. I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to follow everything that I need to follow. And it's like, okay, interesting. And then we see the High Sparrow. You can tell he's a manipulator. He's been around these people enough that he's manipulating his way to power. He talks to her about the consummation of their marriage and stuff like that, how they haven't gotten together and bumped it to pretty much make an heir to continue the new control that he and the Faith Militant have with the crown since they've been united. And she's like explaining, oh, I don't have the desire anymore. It's like, oh, no, desire has nothing to do with it. Do your duty. It's like, dude, you're just doing it for your own control. I mean, it's obvious because to us because we're seeing it from the outside, but this is a Game of Thrones. He's playing even though you would think he wouldn't be a player on the board. That's what makes him and Baelish so successful at doing their maneuvers and everything. Nobody suspects them. It's the ones on the outside, the ones that pretend to be weak and everything, that find their time and stab people pretty much. So, as he's doing that, he also pretty much lays on the threat that he's fearing for Marjorie's grandmother's safety. And it's like, holy crap, he pretty much just threatened the rest of the Tyrells and everything. And it's like, this dude knows what he's doing and isn't as good as he lets on to people. He's got an army. Pure and simple. He doesn't even really need to even command them to do anything. He'll just do it to try and please him and the gods. That's really scary. So then it goes to all the grandmother, Olenna, and Marjorie talking and everything. And they've got to watch out because the Septa is now following Marjorie. And it's like, holy jeez, this is going to get complicated. But she's trying to tell her to stop doing this and get back to her senses. Marjorie's like, well, no, I'm good. I've got this. All Loras has to do is confess his sins, repent, give away all of his titles and everything, which is another move on the High Sparrow's part to pretty much take out the Tyrells. Because then they don't have any people to take over Highgarden and everything, so that would be open to anybody more amiable to the Faith Militant's goals and aims. He's really starting to get stuff in place. It's really quite scary and really quite effective and interesting because I gotta have my hat off to this guy. He's playing on a level that other people weren't expecting. So, as she's telling her grandmother to leave, she slips a piece of paper there, and then she kind of gets the hint and flips her switch, and is like, okay, I'll go. I'll change my position. I'll leave. And then she goes out and sees the sigil of House Tyrell, the flower and the thorns and everything. It's like, okay, Marjorie's playing. We got this. I mean, we could be scared or whatnot, but she's got this. She kind of knows what she's doing, so it'll be like, yes. Then we get up to Jon and Tormund, and Jon's trying to convince the wildlings to follow him, and Tormund's helping him out. But he's explaining that just leaving the Boltons and everything wouldn't be in their best interest. They're going to come after you. We've got to do this so we can get to the point where we can fight the White Walkers and everything. He's like, I shouldn't be asking you to do this, but I have to, and it sucks. And then the Giant's like, Snow, walks off. Everybody else is like, all right, cool. And it's like, yes, we're gathering our forces. This is what needs to happen. One step at a time. We got a very forces gathering kind of motion to this, kind of reminiscent of like Seven Samurai, gathering the forces for the good guys to try and fight the bad guys. And then we go back to Cersei and Olenna because she's making her moves to leave, and Cersei's like, listen, we gotta work together and do this. And Olenna's like, what? You stupidly gave them everything. I mean, why should I stay around? I mean, I know some bad people, and I know that you smirked when my grandchildren were pretty much taken and imprisoned, and I'll never forget that. And it's like, alright, she's gonna be on her own. Gotta get out. It's gonna be interesting to see if Cersei can pretty much wage a two-person army against the Faith Mountain. The Mountain's good. It's just Cersei's gonna have to direct him into the effective combat in order to take out as much as possible while not being overrun. Because the Mountain's good, we just don't know the limits of his abilities at this point. So, then we get to Jaime and Bronn at River Run, which is great. I love seeing Bronn again. He is a great character, and he's like, I keep doing this. I keep getting with the Lannisters, and they keep putting me in situations that I either gotta fight my way out of, or hope to God that I don't get poisoned, or whatnot. He's got good luck with them because they always pay him what he's been promised, but he's gotta go through a lot of shit to get there. So, they're trying to help the Freys at the siege of River Run, which the Blackfish has taken. And the Freys don't know what the hell they're doing. They want power, but they can't do anything. So they're pretty much threatening to kill Edmure, which is their only line to pretty much keeping River Run and the Tullys under control. And Blackfish is like, do it. And he walks on off. I'm like, he knows what he's doing. If they threaten, doesn't matter. They've got to go through with it. If they don't go through with it, why the hell do I need to deal with them? And Jaime points this out to the Freys with great effect, pretty much being like, okay, I can threaten to hit you. And then, smacks the crap out of that one Frey. It's like, okay, we got this. It's like, well, you guys don't know what you're doing. You need trenches and all this stuff, and you don't even have a perimeter. 8,000 Lannisters came up them, and they didn't even know. That is a level of incompetence that shows that the Freys will be screwed. And it's just not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So, then we got to see Mormont and Lady Lyanna, who is named after Lyanna Stark. And she is great. It was an interesting scene seeing Sansa, Jon, and Davos try and petition the Mormonts for men to fight against the Boltons. And we've seen a lot of different Mormonts. We've seen Jorah Mormont at the Wall. Great God. We've seen Jorah Mormont with Daenerys. Granted, he's made some mistakes, but he's always been a good guy. And this little 10-year-old girl is in charge of an entire realm of people, of an island's worth of people. And you can see that she's doing her best to be the hard ass that she needs to make sure her people are safe. You can see that as she deals with Jon and Sansa, and then Davos is like, okay, you're not going to get to her like this. You got to be like, alright, lady, we're not dealing you in this kind of petty war. This is the true war against the living and the dead. This is the true thing. This is what Mormont at the Wall fought. This is what Jon Snow fought. We need your help. And then she's able to be, alright, we'll give you 62 men. It's like, alright, 62 men? It's like, they'll fight with we're 10 mainlanders. And it's like, alright, they're anywhere as fierce as you, we're good. I'm like, yeah, these are the Northmen we need to see. See what they can do, what they feel, how they feel about the Boltons taking over Winterfell, how they feel about the Starks and all the stuff with the War with the Five Kings. This is the interesting and the cool stuff. So, then, we get to see Jaime and the Blackfish as they parlay, because Jaime wanted that kind of on the side, and Blackfish is like, I don't care, man. War's still on. I'm still standing. I'm still gonna do this. I got enough provisions in there for 2 years. You gonna kill hundreds of us? Yeah, but guess what? You're gonna waste thousands. I don't care, man. I don't care. Jaime's like frustrated. He's like, why can't you see reason? I mean, you're just gonna waste lives for no reason? It's like, you have destroyed his family. He is gonna make sure that this is his home and that it's protected, and he's gonna die protecting it. And I don't think that the Lannisters truly understand that. They do have a sense of family, but I don't think they understand there's some things that people are worth dying with and for, because that's it. You can't buy this. You can't take this from them. This is what they're going to do because this is what they love. This is what they know. This is who they are. And that's just showing just how badass the Blackfish is. I mean, really fleshing out good characters this season and really showing some interesting interactions between characters we don't see interact in the book that often. And it's really cool. Then we get to see back to Jon and Sansa trying to get the Glovers to follow him. And understandably, the Glovers don't want anything to do with them. The last time that they allied with the Starks, the Ironborn took over the castle while they marched south. And they only got rid of them when they allied with the Boltons. And Sansa got that thrown in her face by the Glover guy, and I can't say I don't blame him. But the thing is, the Boltons are going to be bad. And Ramsay Bolton will flay anyone just because they displease him. And because he thinks it'll be fun. That's the scary stuff, and that's who you have to get rid of. Yeah, they might have helped you get rid of the Ironborn, but that's because they wanted you under their control. That's what you got to think about when you're dealing with that kind of people. That kind of person who's just a mad dog who will do one thing one time and then next time do something completely different. So, then we get to see Theon and Yara. And Yara trying to get Theon back to himself. This was really good and really effective because it shows that Yara really loves Theon. She's the only one who truly really loves him because she's the one who went to try and help him and get him out of captivity. And she's trying to rebuild him because he's been broken. And Theon really does a good job. The actor does a good job of conveying how broken Theon is. Now, granted, he has had worse done to him in the book. But you can tell that he's just shaken. All of the abuse that he has endured through Ramsay just comes through. And it's like, he's got to get himself back to that. She's like, drink, be an Ironborn. If you can't get yourself back to Theon, kill yourself. Otherwise, just do this and come back to me. And he's like, alright. Kind of a tough love. Usually you don't want to go that route. But these are kind of like a hard people. This is how they usually effectively show their love. Though granted, Yara is a kind of softer Ironborn if you want to get into that way. And that's kind of scary because Euron probably would be the hardest one because he doesn't give a shit. And it was really cool to see that bonding moment between them and see kind of where they're going to be going. Yara's like, alright, you gotta get the Marine. We gotta make a pact with the Dragon Queen so that we can get our home back. And it's like, okay, this is kind of where it could be going. They could get to Marine. Give the ships to Daenerys. And like, alright, you usually want to attack King's Landing first, correct? Yeah. But see, the thing is, you go around the other side, take out Pike first, get into the north and get the White Walkers, and then sweep down. Or you could sweep back up, because guess what? King's Landing wouldn't really think that someone would come from the other side of Westeros to try and invade them. I don't know, I'm just thinking where it could go. There's so many possibilities that they could go through to get to the places that they need to. It's very exciting. So, then we get to Davos, Jon, and Sansa. And they're at their camp. It's actually where Stannis had his army when he was going to attack Winterfell the other time. And it's kind of good, bad, and that bad shit happened at that place. So I don't know if it would be good to be there. So what could happen is that if that's where Stannis camped, Sir Davos could see where Shireen was burned. And that could make some really interesting character conflict between him and Melisandre. See, the thing is, we don't know if Melisandre will change it all. We haven't seen her for a little bit, so we'll have to see. Sir Davos could kill her. Granted, she's already done an important part, but who knows if Jon needs to be brought back again. So, want to watch out for that. Because we also see that they had effectively gathered their little forces that they had, being like 2,000 wildlings, 200 hornwoods, 143 masons, and like 62 of the Mormonts. It's like not that big of a force. And they're all kind of already fighting each other because they're like, wildlings suck! And wildlings are like, get the fuck back off, man! It's like, oh shit. So Davos has to go deal with that, while Sansa's like, we need more men. It's like, well, we can't have much more time to actually do this. We actually have to do it. Yeah, we don't have the biggest force ever, but we kind of have to do what we need to do. And then he has to go off and kind of help Sir Davos, while Sansa makes a raven to, who I assume is Baelish, to get more men. Now, we know this is going to come with strings attached. It's Baelish. Always look at everything differently for him, because he will do anything to get his advantage. And he's going to be warier this time, because Sansa's like, you fucked me. And she should not forget that. She just keeps getting into her ways of thinking. When she gets into her head that she thinks she's ahead of someone, that's usually when it gets flipped back up on her. And she really needs to watch out for that. Jon's more wary of that. And I think she thinks that she can lord the Stark stuff over him. We have to watch out for that and see how that goes towards the end of the season, other seasons to come. So, then we get to see, let me see here. Yes, we get to see, kind of towards the end of here, Brother Ray and the Hound. And they're kind of talking about, like, their lives. He's talking to a crowd, talking about how he's a soldier, did all these bad things. And he's like, well, I'm trying to be better. This is what I'm trying to do. And then the Brotherhood Without Banners shows up, pretty much wanting payment for protection. And it's like, crap. This isn't going to go well. We can already tell where this is going, and they go back off. So the Hound's chopping wood and everything, doing his thing, and he's like, okay, we'll have to see how this goes. And then we get to see Arya, and she thinks, I can get out of here, tries to buy a passage to Westeros, like, alright, we'll get out at the dawn. Looking over a bridge, Wade comes up and pretty much stabs her. She should have been watching for this stuff. I mean, I'm not an expert of going into assassination guilds, but I know that if I piss one off, I would usually want to get out of that town that night. Okay, I'm not going to strut around being like, alright, I got this, I can get out of here. I'm like, no, I furtively cover myself up, look like no one I know, and get out as fast as possible. That's just me. Which led to her getting stabbed and her pretty much escaping. The way, I don't know if she thinks she killed her or not, but she's in a bad way. She's not as bad as Jon was at the end of last season, but it's not pretty. She needs to find someone to, like, sew her up. And she's like, I don't know, oh God. She's trying to finally figure it out that the faceless men can't be anyone. It's like, I don't know if they help me. It's like, yeah, that's what you should have been thinking of. I'm like, why? So, then we end the episode with the Hound being pretty much called back to action. All the people, Brother Ray, killed by the Brotherhood Without Banners. So, I think this is going to eventually lead to him and the Mountain fighting. Because since he was with this group that followed the Seven Gods, and he's got his axe and everything, I think it'll eventually lead to him pretty much being called on the champion. Because from the previews, it looks like the Faith Militant are going to be thin pretty heavily, and that they're going to need someone to fight. And he might be captured by the Brotherhood Without Banners, brought back to King's Landing, seen by the High Sparrow, and be like, I could use you, and then we'll get the showdown of the century. And it'll be like, oh yeah. So, those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.